Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is D. Greg. This is actually my first little rant thing, if you want to call it, about some photography equipment that I like to use, that I wanted to use. This right here is the Zeikos. I've been online, looked at YouTube and a couple other sites, and all they talk about is Kenkos, Kenko apostrophe S or something, I don't know. But I never seen nothing else advertised on there, so this is my D90. I like using this one, and about 2 years ago I bought the Zeikos battery grip, and it worked perfectly. I haven't had any problems with it. Still like brand new. I love it. So I decided to go onto their website, Zeikos website, and see if I can find some extension tubes to do a little macro work, and I did find some. And these are especially made for Nikon, so that works out even better. It's not like the kind where it's universal, where it tends to not work or do what they're supposed to do. I got these like about a week ago, this particular product, the macro extension tube set, and I really liked it. I tested it out, tried it out, and it works perfect. Some people complained and said that the rings were too tight, or the electronic autofocus didn't work good, or what have you. But for me, I didn't have that experience, and from the videos that I did see, they were all experiences from the Kenkos brand. So I'm one for Zeikos. Whether they're related or not, I don't know, because the names are whatever. But today I'm going to be talking about this one. I've used this a couple of times. I did some photos with it. I'm just still working on a few things with that, but I will upload the photos so you can check those out in a later video. So as of right now, these are what the extension tubes look like. Move this over. You get 3 extension tubes. All right, one is for 36 millimeter, 20 millimeter, and a 12 millimeter. It also comes with a cover, lens cover, which is good because you could use this and put this actually on your camera, your Nikon camera or whatever brand you got. And you can do that with it. Also a rear cover as well. So we can take those off, leave those to the side. And these are your buttons to separate them, and it works perfect. So you got your 36 right here, and this would be your 20 millimeter right here, and this is the 12 millimeter right here. So you get 3 extension tube rings. You could use them all together, or you could use them separately. It depends on how you want your picture to come out, or how close, or whatever. And you can actually get so close with these things, it's like ridiculous. So if you just have a standard lens, it's going to make that standard lens a macro lens like right away, and you get some really, really beautiful shots. Some people were complaining about they were too tight, or when you try to put the rings together, they didn't really do whatever. But not with the Zeikos. The Zeikos went straight on and straight off. And it's pretty good that they are a little tight, because at least that way you don't have to worry about too much dirt or dust getting inside your electronic components inside the camera. So with that being said, I'm going to disconnect my favorite lens. Well, one of my favorite lenses is the actual Nikon 50 millimeter. Oops. Mistake, but we'll keep rolling. And you just disconnect the lens, and you could just put whatever size you want on there. I'll start with the 12, and they just go right on there, and they fit, and they lock right up just like that. Perfect. Nice connection. And this is on a 50 millimeter lens. And it works the same way. Just find your guides, put them together, lock them up, and bam, voila. Now you're working with a 50 millimeter with a 12 millimeter adapter, tube extension adapter on there, and you're good to go. So now you can do all your close-up shots, and you can get super close with these lenses. Then, of course, if you want to get it a little bit closer, and it still works the same way, pop your lens off, comes right off, no problem. Some people complain about they have to struggle and do all that stuff with this, but I don't have to worry about that. These are some good products that works really good. And I'm going to add the 20 millimeter onto the 12 millimeter that's connected to the 50 millimeter lens. And it works just the same, pop, snap, and lock, just like that. Simple, quick, all the connections are just flawless. Put it on, And you make your attachments the exact same way like the last one. Bam, now you have it. So now you have a 20 millimeter, 12 millimeter, along with your 50 millimeter, and you got some really excellent macro photography going on right here. So the next extension tube we have would be the 36, and it's like this. Now there's no glass in between the tubes. It's just open, wide open, see clearly, so that way you keep all your optical instead of the digital on there, which is, everybody should know that optical is better. The more optical you have, the better quality your pictures will be. And now we're just going to do the same thing. Disconnect this. And we're going to connect the 36 to the 20 and the 12. No problem. Get them lined up here. Put your connections. Bam. Just like that. So now you got the 36, you got the 20 and the 12, along with the 50 millimeter lens. And it's perfect. Everything locks. It's solid. There's no craziness about it. Like I said, you just do your direct connections. Bam. Snap on, snap off. And now you're good to go with some extra super duper close. And actually you can get so close with this, it's just ridiculously stupid. I mean, just ridiculous. I was just blown away with it. A lot of people complain about the plastic and all that. But Zeikos brand, which is this right here, you can see, is really good. I love their brands. I have a lot of their stuff that I bought a couple of years ago, and their products are still working like brand new. Most of the stuff I do have anyway, I buy it off Craigslist, and I haven't had any problems with anything that I've ever bought off Craigslist. So going with a lower brand is not a problem. Super easy. You don't have to worry about being ripped off by a name brand per se. I mean, some things you do have to get in a name brand, so it's cool. But all your extra stuff, you really don't have to go broke buying all that extra stuff. You can get the same quality, do the same quality work that the so-called pros do. You could do that with off-brand products as well. So right now what we have on here is a 36 millimeter, a 20 millimeter, a 12 millimeter extension tube rings, along with a 50 millimeter 1.8D lens. Everything works the same. You might have to make a few adjustments with your f-stops and your shutter speeds and all that different type of stuff. But that basically depends on what you want and how you want it and the picture that you're looking for. So there's no set rule on the f-stops and the speeds and the shutter and all that other stuff. People try to make a big deal out of it, but it's really no big deal because it's whatever you want and however you see it, because it's your picture, okay? So there you have it. 36 millimeter, 20 millimeter, 12 millimeter extension tubes by Zeikos. I recommend their brand. You'll love their brand to do all your macro work. Check them out. You can go to their website, .com, you know, all that stuff. Stay tuned for the next video. I'm going to be talking about the light ring, the cheap light ring that I bought to do my macro work later.